Back when I was a kid, around the age of 12, which was about 20 years ago, Halloween was one of my favorite holidays. I loved the chance to hang out with my friends, put on funny costumes, and most importantly, go trick-or-treating for a candy haul. This particular year, I recall my friend Sean was joining me for trick-or-treating, followed by a sleepover at my house. I lived with just my mom and an older sister, who was at her best friend's house for the night. Sean and I embarked on our trick-or-treating adventure at around 5:00 p.m. Our neighborhood was quite typical, with numerous houses lining the streets in a large residential area. Although our street was usually quiet, we still anticipated plenty of neighborhood kids coming for treats. Initially, we visited all the houses on our street before venturing to the next street over. We roamed the neighborhood, going from door to door, collecting candies until our bags couldn't hold any more. It must have been around 8:00 when we decided to head back home. During our entire trick-or-treating adventure, everything seemed perfectly normal. We encountered many other kids out enjoying Halloween. It took us approximately 30 minutes to walk back home. Upon arriving home, Sean and I couldn't wait to dive into our candy stash. Shortly after, my mom headed to bed. Knowing we didn't have school the next day, we decided to stay up late. We settled into the living room and started playing video games, probably on the PlayStation 2 or whatever was popular at the time. We were having a blast playing those multiplayer games until, just 10 minutes in, the doorbell rang. Of course, we assumed it was a late trick-or-treater. It was unusual considering the hour, and my mom had turned off the front light before retiring for the night. Curious but cautious, I got up to check who it was, with Sean following closely behind. We paused to peek out of the front window to the living room first. When we moved the curtains a bit, I spotted a fully grown man standing on the front porch, facing the door. It was quite perplexing. The man wasn't dressed in any costume, and I didn't recognize him as a neighbor or anyone I knew. Terrified, we quickly closed the curtains, fearing the man might see us. Uncertain of what to do, we decided to ignore this odd occurrence. We weren't going to answer the door at this late hour to an unknown stranger. But the man rang the doorbell once more. We hoped my mom might still be awake and come downstairs, but she didn't. As the doorbell rang for the second time, a heavy silence followed. Sean and I assumed the man had departed. We were about to resume our video games when Sean had the idea to check out the window and ensure the man had indeed left. I concurred and walked over to the window. Pulling back the curtain to look outside, I was shocked to see the man right there on the other side of the window. Our eyes met, and I quickly closed the curtains. Frightened, Sean and I both bolted out of the room and sprinted upstairs to seek safety. We entered my bedroom and closed the door behind us. I was genuinely scared but felt safer in there. We couldn't fathom why the man was in our yard, so close to the window, and hoped he would simply go away. Sean and I huddled in my bedroom, discussing what we had witnessed. Suddenly, we heard the sound of glass breaking coming from downstairs. The noise amplified my fear, making me think the man was now inside our house. In a state of heightened terror, we ran out of my bedroom and down the hall to my mom's room. As we entered, she woke up, and I hastily explained the situation. My mom's bedroom had a phone, and she immediately called the police. I locked the bedroom door as an added precaution. We waited anxiously inside the closet of the bedroom. The minutes seemed to drag on as we prayed not to hear any unwelcome sounds from the intruder. None of us knew who this man was or why he had targeted our house. After what felt like an eternity, the police finally arrived, around 10 to 15 minutes later. They searched the house, but the man had fled. He had broken into the front living room window, near where we had initially spotted him. Some parts of the house were in disarray, and a few items were missing, but we were mostly relieved that the intruder was gone. The night had been a harrowing experience, and I couldn't help but wonder about the man's motives. But luckily, he never returned. And that, my friends, was undeniably the scariest Halloween memory of my life.